Imagine you're the founder of a FemTech business. You go to open a bank account, but you're declined. You're declined because you're systematically classified as a sexual enhancement product. What you actually do is provide a solution for female incontinence after childbirth. This is the reality of a lot of UK's FemTech businesses, and it points to a crisis in the UK's industrial classification system. FemTechs don't have an industry category, so they are systematically misclassified as high-risk businesses alongside arms dealers, tobacco retailers, and sex workers. I spend a lot of time thinking about industrial classifications, not something I ever thought I'd say. But once you dig into the problem, it's hard to put down. The system is in crisis. Before we go back to the sort of issues of human rights issues it causes, the actual fundamentals of it are pretty shocking. Over 15% of UK businesses are classified into an industry code called Other Business Services Not Elsewhere Classified. Further 8% describe themselves as activities of head office. There are a load of other categories that begin with other. And when you add it all up, it's over 30% of the UK business base. These are classifications that just don't meaningfully describe what a company does. If you are trying to set up a FemTech, there's some really important work I wanted to highlight. So the first is a report by an organisation called CensHERship, which is looking at systemic bias against the FemTech industry. So while I'm here to talk about industry classifications, it is unfortunately not limited to that. If you are a brand selling female technology-based or feminine health products, you are much more likely to be blocked on social media and advertising channels than if you were selling male equivalents. It's just a fact. If you look at their website, they've done a lot of work researching this. Coming back to the industrial classification side of things, I'm just going to read a report they did, some stats from a report they did, which is called The Bias Burden, which is analysis of financial services provision to FemTechs. So they carried out a detailed study of 35 FemTechs. Every single one had faced a barrier accessing basic financial infrastructure. That's not most of them, that's 100% of them. The financial infrastructure they refer to is really basic stuff like opening a bank account, getting insurance. 64% of them had problems with payment service providers, and I've spoken to a number of FemTechs personally, just anecdotally, who have just had their payment services provision turned off. It's done under anti-money laundering legislation because they've been flagged as a high-risk sector because there is no classification for them. And as a consequence, they're not even told why. So under that legislation, they're not allowed to give a reason to the person. So it took a lot of digging in the report to get to the bottom of this. Take that against the access to investment that women-led businesses experience, and the fact that most FemTechs are run by women. It's just a fact. Only 2% of VC capital rounds go into women-led enterprises and less than 1% of the money. So if you're a FemTech business, you're facing quite a stacked set of disadvantages. First of all, you're going to find it hard to raise money because you're disadvantaged just by the fact of gender. Secondly, you're going to find it hard to open a bank account, get insurance. When you finally do get through all of those and you launch your website, you're at continuous risk of having all of your advertising and payment services provisions cut off. The report's full of really, really horrendous stories of women losing £500,000 in revenue, being turned off just before Black Friday deal days when it was key revenue opportunities, key seasonal points in their calendar, and so on. As we've said, we're calling it out as a crisis. It needs fixing. And we're here to offer a solution. It fits completely with our core mission. Our mission is to build the new global industrial classification system. We're able to move at a pace that the traditional providers of industrial classifications can't in the UK. Last updated in 2007 up until this year. That's a over 20-year gap. We can update classifications today, every day, but certainly annually. So we've created a FemTech classification, and what we're doing is working to enable access to that data and those classifications to financial services institutions.